So, good morning, students. Once again, we meet after a short summer break, and today we will take up once again the next few pages of The Tempest. So, please now get ready with your textbooks so that we can begin with the text. So, good morning, students. Here we go now. We continue with the next couple of pages, or maybe a little more than the next two pages of The Tempest, Act 5, Scene 1. And we were doing the speech of the boatswain who was speaking about what exactly had happened and how they happened to reach that particular part of the island where Prospero's cell was located. And he says that it was really surprising for the captain of the ship, the master of the ship, when he saw his ship absolutely sound and perfectly well equipped and maintained. He started dancing. He started capering or dancing. On a trice so please you, even in a dream were we divided from them. So let's move on to the text, page 116. So here on your screen you can see page 116. So here the boatswain continues with that speech which he was giving a little earlier. Even in a dream where we divided from them and were brought mopping hither. So it was as if in a dream. It was as if in a dream that we were removed from that place where we were earlier, and we were brought to this place, that is mopping, in a dull and semi-conscious state. So we were brought to this place and our minds were still clogged up with a kind of delusion or a kind of confusion, and we were in a semi-conscious state, but we were brought here. And Ariel says, in the meantime, aside to Prospero. We know very well that Ariel is always desperate to receive words of praise from his master Prospero, and so he's asking once again for Prospero's approval of whatever he has done. And he says, aside to Prospero, was it well done? Did I do it well? Have I performed my duty well? And Prospero in the same manner replies to Ariel, page 216, line 275. All of you please focus on the lines as I explain. So Ariel has asked Prospero just now whether he has carried out his task well or not, and Prospero replies in an aside. We already know what asides are. Asides are supposed to be dialogues which are only to be heard by the people concerned on the stage and not the rest of the characters, and also by the audience. And so here Prospero says in an aside to Ariel, bravely by my diligence thou shalt be free. So my ever resourceful spirit, you have done this really very well, and you will soon be freed. So he is very happy. Now in the meantime, Alonso remarks, this is as strange a maze as ever men trod. So he says that this is a very strange or amazing thing. This is a very strange or amazing thing that we have ever been through. That as ever men trod means that has ever been experienced by any man before. And there is in this business more than nature was ever conduct of. And he says that the whole business or this whole affair looks very strange, and something more than nature can be concerned with. So this has in it, whatever has happened so far has happened in such a way that it does not seem to be natural at all. There is something more than natural in these things which have happened. Things have really happened unnaturally or maybe supernaturally, but not much naturally. So this is what he means to say, that there seems to be more in this whole affair or whole episode than nature can possibly contribute to it. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge. And he says that only the voice of God, some oracle refers to voice of some kind of God, And only if a voice of God is heard at this moment to clarify whatever has happened so far, only then will it become clear to us. Otherwise, we are not able to understand what exactly has happened or has been happening. So, our knowledge about these things must be ratified, clarified, explained by some kind of divine voice or some kind of voice of God. So, Prospero says, Sir, my liege, that is, my dear Lord, my Sir, my dear Lord, do not infest your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. So please don't worry over these strange happenings. Whatever has happened so far, don't worry about them. Don't worry. Why does Prospero say so? Because he is going to explain everything to Alonso. So don't be worried. Do not infest your mind with bearing on the strangeness of this business. Business here means whatever has happened. At picked leisure, which shall be shortly, single I'll resolve you. So, when the time permits, when we have some leisure or when we have some free time, I will explain each and everything to you. I will give you a detailed explanation of whatever has happened and why such things have happened, or rather how such things have happened. So I'll explain everything to you. So don't worry, we'll find time to sit together and explain, and then I'll explain everything to you, which to you shall seem probable of every these happened accidents. And then you will understand that all these accidents here refers to incidents. So whatever things have happened or whatever incidents have taken place will then seem to be quite probable to you once I explain it to you. So something which looks very confusing, something which puzzles you, will all be cleared. All the puzzles, all the confusion will be cleared by me, and then these happenings will appear to be reasonable for you or to you. Till when, be cheerful and think of each thing well. And till then, till that time is not does not arrive, till that time does not arrive when we can sit together and I can explain things to you. Till that time, please have a positive mindset, be cheerful, think of everything as happening well. Nothing bad is happening here. Everything is fine. Everything is under control. Everything is all right. So you don't need to worry at all. As long as I don't explain things to you, don't worry at all and think of everything as something positive or something good. So this is what he says. And then he speaks aside to Ariel once again. Come hither, spirit, set Caliban and his companions free. Come here, Ariel. He calls him by the name Spirit, and he says, go and set Caliban and his companions, that is Stefano and Trinculo, set them free also and bring them here. So now, first we have seen Ferdinand has been brought to Prospero's cell. Then we have seen Alonso and the companions of Alonso have been brought to the cell of Prospero. And then we have seen the boatswain, the master, and the mariners. Mariners are still in the ship, the sailors, but the ship as well as the mariners and the boatswain and the master, they have also been brought here. Now the only characters left who have not yet been brought before the others are Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo. Out of these three, of course, Caliban is Prospero's own slave, and Stefano and Trinculo belong to the royal party, that is, they belong to Alonso's group. So now he speaks aside to Ariel and asks Ariel to bring them here or in front of his cell. Untie the spell, and not only bring them here, remove the spell. The spell which you have cast on them, remove it so that they can behave according to their own wishes. So exit Ariel. Ariel goes out to fetch them. In the meantime, again Alonso continues and Prospero continues and he says, how fares my gracious sir? There are yet missing of your company some few odd lads that you remember not. So how do you do, sir? How are you, sir? There are a couple of young boys missing from your group, and I think you don't remember them. You must have forgotten about them. So I just want to remind you about them, that there are a couple of guys missing from, couple of young guys missing from your royal group. So I think you have forgotten about them. So I just want to remind you about them. And just as Prospero finishes, re-enter Ariel, driving in Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo. in their stolen apparel. Now, Caliban, Stefano, Trinculo. Out of these three, of course, mainly Stefano and Trinculo are wearing those oversized clothes or undersized clothes which they had stolen from the clothesline outside Prospero's cell. And now they arrive and they're looking very peculiar. On the stage, these characters, when they appear, the audience roars in laughter to see their condition and see their clothes. And now Stefano speaks. Every man shift for all the rest, and let no man take care for himself. So he says something which is meaningless, and therefore it induces laughter in the audience, in the mind of the audience. And you can imagine that when he says something like this, Shakespeare's audience is found laughing. So what he means to say is that let every man look after everybody else and let nobody take care of himself. And then he says, for all is but fortune, coraggio, bully monster, coraggio. So he says that, he refers to Caliban as the bully monster or bullying monster, the monster who makes a show of being very brave. Coraggio means have courage. So he says that let every man take care of everybody else and let no man take care of himself. For everything is a matter of chance. So courage, my brave monster, have courage. So he is trying to, he is dead drunk, Stefano, and he is trying to give courage to Caliban. Now, with that we come to the end of page 116. So move on to page 117. Now, Trinculo, who was listening to this, has his version of his remarks, and let's see what he says. Trinculo says, if these be true spies which I wear in my head, here's a goodly sight. Now, Trinculo has suddenly seen all those people who are present, including Prospero, Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Adrian, Francisco, the master, the boatswain, so many people standing right in front of them. So he is the first one to see them, and so Trinculo says, if these are true spies, he's referring to his own eyes. He says these spies which I am wearing in my head refers to his eyes, the eyes that I have with which I can see. Spying means to see. If these are truly showing me what I think I am seeing, then I must say that here is a very good sight, or here is a marvelous spectacle. So if the eyes in my head see truly, then here is a marvelous spectacle. So Caliban says, oh Setebos, these be brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is. I am afraid he will chastise me. So he calls out in the name of Setebos. Setebos is the other name for Satan, or the god of the underworld, and Caliban's god, and therefore he calls out to Setebos, and he says that I must say that my master, referring to Prospero, that my master has some really beautiful spirits in his control. Because Caliban, all his life, ever since he was taken into custody by Prospero after Prospero came to this island, for all his life he has only seen strange shapes which were actually spirits governed by Prospero. And so he, with his imagination, he thinks that these human beings who are standing before him are not real but are actually spirits. And that's why he says that these are brave spirits, or beautiful spirits indeed. How splendid my master is. And then suddenly he is seized with a sense of fear or terror, because he realizes that he was planning to take his master's life. And so he comments, he says that he will surely punish me very severely. My master is not going to spare me. My master is so powerful. These are all the spirits governed by my master. So many spirits right now in front of us. And oh my goodness, I think my master will now punish me for whatever I have been doing behind his back. So this is Caliban's opinion. when he sees these people outside Prospero's cell. Now Sebastian says, "Ha ha! What things are these, my Lord Antonio? Will money buy him?" Sebastian is already laughing to see the condition of these three people, Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo, and he says, "What are these things actually, my Lord Antonio? Will money buy him?" Meaning to say that are they purchasable? Can someone buy them by giving money? Is it possible to buy such peculiar creatures? What creatures are they? He's asking Antonio. Antonio remarks, "Very like. One of them is a plain fish and no doubt marketable." Yes, I am sure that you can buy them with money. At least one of them looks absolutely like a fish, referring to Caliban, of course. And I think a creature like that can easily be sold in the market, so easily marketable. So we can, if we can take this creature with us back to Naples, we can possibly sell him in the market for a price. So just imagine Sebastian and Antonio laughing at the expense of Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo, and even talking about business at this juncture. Meanwhile, Prospero continues. Prospero says, "Mark but the badges of these men, my lords. Then say if they be true. Please look at them. Pay attention to them. Notice what kind of dresses they are wearing. First, observe their dress." Badges here refers to a mark or a proof of some particular fact. So look at the badges of these men. What kind of dress or dresses are they wearing? So tell me now, after watching them closely, after noticing their dresses, do you think that they can be considered truthful, loyal, honest, genuine people? Definitely not. Why? Because they have stolen these garments. These are stolen garments, so they are so ill-fitting. And when they are wearing them, they look so awful. And that proves that they are thieves. They steal things belonging to others. And then they try to wear those things, in this case, garments. So, look at their badges. This misshapen knave, his mother was a witch, and one so strong that could control the moon, make flows and ebbs. This out of shape creature, this particular creature whom you see, his mother was a witch. Misshapen knave. Knave means one who is uncivilized, indisciplined, uncultured, untrained. So this particular creature who has a very odd shape, his mother was a witch. And his mother was capable of using her black magic to make flows and ebbs. So she could control the moon and she could control the tides. Flow and ebb of the sea water happens when high tide or low tide occurs, and high tide and low tide is generally caused by the pull of the moon, as we all know, we have read in geography. But his mother, being a witch, could control the movements of the moon, and by means of controlling the movements of the moon, she could also cause high tide and low tide to occur. So this misshapen knave, her mother was a witch. And deal in her command without her power, these three have robbed me. So she could also use her powers to control the movements of the moon. So powerful witch, being a powerful witch, she could control the moon, and she could cause the sea to ebb and flow and exercise the moon's authority without being empowered to do so. So this is what this witch could do. Though she had no authority to control the heavenly bodies, only God is supposed to control them, but this witch, with her powerful magical skills or her black magic, could actually make the moon behave the way she wanted it to behave. So this is what he says, and then he says that these people, they have robbed me and this demi-devil, for he is a bastard one, had plotted with them to take my life. So these people, not only have they stolen the garments which belong to me, this particular half devil or demi-devil, referring to Caliban, he, of course, he is a bastard one because his birth is not legitimate, because as we know that Sycorax, the mother of Caliban, had an illicit relationship with Setebos or Satan, the god of the underworld, and that's how Caliban was born. And so Prospero refers to Caliban as a bastard, and he says that he's a bastard and he is a misshapen knave, and he is the son of the foul witch Sycorax, who was a very powerful creature. He, along with the two other fellows, they not only robbed me, they not only stole the garments from my clothesline, they also plotted to take my life. This heinous plot against my life was made by them. Two of these fellows you must know and own. Now, out of this group of three people, two of them you must be knowing them, and they belong to your group. Actually, they are supposed to be members of your royal party, so you must own. So you must accept them as members of your group. The thing of darkness I acknowledge mine. And whereas this creature, this thing of darkness, referring once again to Caliban. So you see how many different adjectives are being used here by Prospero to describe Caliban. And he says that this thing of darkness I acknowledge, I accept, I hereby declare that it belongs to me. Caliban says, I shall be pinched to death. Caliban is now in tremendous fear. He knows that he will be pinched for all his misbehavior, all his plotting. Now he is going to be punished. So I shall be pinched to death. Alonso says, is not this Stefano, my drunken butler? Suddenly, Alonso is able to recognize Stefano, even if Stefano is covered with murky water, completely drenched, and then he's wearing a dress which does not belong to him. Ultimately, Alonso is able to recognize him, and he says, isn't this Stefano, my drunken butler? And Sebastian says, he is drunk now. Where had he wine? Yes, he is Stefano, no doubt, but he is still drunk. I wonder where he got the wine. Where he got the wine from to get drunk. So with that, we come to the end of page 117. Now we move on to page 118. We'll do a little bit of page 118 because after this we have only two more pages to go, and the text of the Tempest, text of Act 5, Scene 1 will officially be over. So we'll try to do a little bit of page 118, and again in our next video we'll take up from the remaining part of page 118 and complete up to page 120. So here Alonso says, and Trinculo is reeling ripe. Where should they find this grand liquor that hath gilded him? Even Trinculo is reeling. From the looks of it, he is also dead drunk. Where on earth did these people get the liquor? Where did they get the wine that they have become so drunk? So he is wondering. And here the meanings are explained alongside. You can have a look. Reeling ripe means so intoxicated as to stagger. Stagger means not able to stand properly, swaying to and fro or maybe from side to side because of having drunk heavily. And gilded him refers to reddened their faces. So their faces have become flushed. The blood has flown into their faces, and the faces have turned red because they have been drinking heavily and they are not even able to stand properly. So where did they get this liquor? How camest thou in this pickle? And how did you come into such a messy state? Now he is directly asking them, how did you get into all this mess? Like, you look so odd, you are completely drenched with dirty water and your dresses are not the original dresses. How did you get into this kind of mess? So Trinculo now responds. He says, I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last that I fear me will never out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing. So he says that Well, I have this fear. I have this fear that I have come into this kind of drenching since I saw you last, that it has given me a kind of rheumatic pain, and I fear I shall not get rid of this pain from my bones. So he says that I'm sorry to say, I'm afraid that ever since I saw you people last, I fell into this kind of a situation, and then I have developed so much of pain in my bones, and it seems that this pain is not going to go away. It will remain with me forever for the rest of my life. And he says that, however, I am safe from any defilement by flies, since I am pickled, that is drenched with mud and filth, since I am already as if I have fallen into a kind of pickle. Just as pickle is mashed up fruits and vegetables with maybe spices and oil, and then it becomes a coagulated mixture of something sticky. Similarly, he says that this mud and water has also covered my body in such a way that I have become pickled, and I think that flies, he says that I think that having flies depositing their eggs. Now this situation is going to happen. I have become so dirty and filthy that these flies will deposit their eggs. They will lay their eggs in me, on my body. So I have this fear now that this is going to happen. And Trinculo says, Sebastian says, why, how now, Stefano? Why, what is the news of you, Stefano? So Stefano says, oh, touch me not. I am not Stefano, but a cramp. Oh, please don't touch me. My entire body is so painful, so sore, that if you touch me, I will be, I'm actually a cramp now. My entire body is in a cramp, so please don't touch me. So you see, Sebastian was about to pat him on the shoulder and ask him, how are you doing, Stefano? But Stefano refuses, and he says, please don't touch me. I am virtually a cramp now. And Prospero says, you would be king of the isle, Sirrah. Yet you were the one who wished to become the king of this island. Fellow, you had actually planned to become the king of this isle. Prospero remarks about what Stefano was planning earlier. Prospero knows everything. He had been watching and listening. So now he points that out. And Stefano says, I should have been a sore one then. If at all I happened to become king of this island, then I would have become a very a sore king, in that if I became a king, one experiencing pain, a sore one explained here, one experiencing pain or ruthless or tyrannical. So if I happened to become king, I would have become one with tremendous pain in his body, or I would have become one who would have been a tyrant or a torturer. So this is what he means to say. The meaning is explained alongside, but I would rather go with the first meaning rather than the second one. So Alonso says, this is a strange thing as ever I looked on. He says that this is really, really a very strange thing that I have ever seen in my life. He's pointing to Caliban. So we'll stop here for the day. Pointing to Caliban, Alonso is now inquisitive about Caliban, and what Prospero goes on to say about Caliban, we will read in our next video. We'll try to understand in our next video. So I hope all of you have understood so far that I have explained. We have reached, as you can see on your screen, page 118, and we have started from page 116. We have completed 116, 117, and we have completed half of page 118. And the remaining half of page 118 plus pages 119 and 120 will be completed in our next video, in our next class. So thank you very much.